Hey everyone, it's Rick Theriault, your Maine Real Estate Guide. Today is just a gorgeous day here in the Katahdin region. I got to take a little walk, show you what's going on here at the family homestead here in Millinocket. Man, when spring gets here and springs or sprungs or well, whatever, it really happens, and it happens fast. So let me show you here. We're standing right here by my peach tree. We took a view of this the other day, and I showed you the fruiting buds, but this tree here is all in full bloom here, and peaches for the most part are self-pollinating. So provided you have weather conditions and pollinators, they'll do okay for setting fruit. And if every flower becomes a peach, there's too many peaches for the tree. So I told you I had pruned this pretty heavy, and you have to because peach trees are a vigorous grower. But just look at all the fruiting buds and the flowers, the blossoms here that are on that tree. And even this little fella here, this young tree that's only a couple years old, has I don't know, couple dozen flowers on it. So it's looking really good. So yeah, so weather permitting, we'll have a good peach crop. Keep our fingers crossed, because you know the trees are looking good, the blossoms are there. My beehive seems to be doing okay. We'll probably see some bees when we get up on the hill. And I'll show you what else is in bloom, because there's a lot of things happening just in a couple of days since my last update, the homestead update. But it's a beautiful day, and the challenge that I'm facing is apparently with the East Coast is in some sort of weekend rain event system, which the last several weekends, Saturdays, Sundays and stuff, we're having quite a bit of rain, and it's looking like we're going to have 3, 4, 5 days of showers and rain and overcast and cool temperatures. Today is going to be 75-ish. I think tomorrow it gets up to 50. So that's quite a temperature swing. It's not it's not frost weather or anything, so I don't have that to deal with. But if it's rainy, damp, and cool, not good for pollination. That's a challenge, and I don't have any control over it, and neither would you if you were growing fruit trees or any other crop for that matter that requires pollination. We're kind of dependent on the weather and what happens. So let's take a look here up on the hill. So here's my crabapple tree, which I mentioned in the previous video is a universal pollinator for all my other apple trees up here on the hill. And you can see that I was worried that it was going to be in full bloom and before much of anything else opened, and that's the case. So there's all kinds of crabapple blossoms, which is, I'll have crabapples, or I should, provided they get pollinated. I can actually see a hummingbird in there gathering some nectar, which is nice. And some of my other trees are getting ready to pop as well with their blossoms. Like the Zestar, I think, is getting ready to open up. Yeah, I see some blossoms open on that. That's an early variety of apple trees. So that's getting ready to open as well. But again, back to the weather. It's supposed to rain for the next 4 or 5 days, which is not good for setting fruit, and it's actually not good for tree health, because cold, damp weather can bring diseases to fruit trees, different fungal infections. So I got to be on the alert for that. But there's a lot of activity here at my cherry tree, which is just gorgeous. Look at all those, and this is like being a sweet cherry tree. So hopefully we'll have a pretty good crop. I've seen a lot of bee activity here over the last 2 or 3 days. I see some bumblebees up there right now and some honeybees bopping around. And over here, this is another variety of cherry. This is a pie cherry. So these ones over here are sweet, And these ones over here are tart, and they use tart cherries to make pies. Last year we only had we didn't have enough to make a pie. The year before we were able to make 2 or 3 pies from the cherries we picked from this tree. So hopefully that'll be the case. But again, depends on the weather. Depends on the weather. And over here, my plum trees are just amazing, and they're very fragrant. And I don't know, maybe someone out there is watching this video, maybe you can answer this question, because I've been observing these trees for the last several years. They are exceptionally fragrant. They are abundantly bloomed, but you don't see the honeybees don't pay any attention to it at all, and it just amazes me. So I'm not sure, you know, why they prefer the cherry blossoms to the apple blossoms to all of, there's like probably tens of thousands of plum blossoms here, and they just smell unbelievable. And my beehive is right over here, and from my reading of bees and whatnot, they have an incredible sense of smell. I don't get it, but one of the puzzles that I'm trying to figure out. But fair amount of bee activity. I've been seeing a lot of pollen going in on the backs of bees, which is a good indicator that they're raising brood, because pollen's the protein for growing brood, and nectar is the energy, and that's what they produce honey from. So nectar becomes it's consumed on the front end, but it also becomes honey stores for later. But pollen is what is required to grow the colony in the summertime, and they're bringing in a fair amount of that. And then our rhubarb, we've got enough that we could probably make a rhubarb pie or a rhubarb crisp already. I mean, that just 2 weeks ago that wasn't even out of the ground. So when spring finally springs, you better be ready, because there's a lot happening. Weather update, and you know, things were looking really good. My peach tree has got a ton of blossoms on it, but we've had heavy rain overnight. It's rainy and drizzly and cool today, and so I don't know what we're going to end up with for peaches, if any. The extended cool, wet, overcast weather here for the next several days does not bode well for a peach fruit set. We'll keep our fingers crossed, but rainy weather, you know, the rain can wash off the pollen. The cool temperatures can delay the pollen actually forming. If pollinators actually go out, you know, since the pollen, if there's any there, is wet, it might not attach to them so that it can be spread to other flowers. It's just, you know, you do the best you can. You take care of the trees, you give them good nutrition, but you're banking on the weather. And that's one thing I can't control. But we'll see what happens. You know, hopefully we'll have at least some fruit. I don't expect to have a huge crop, because it just the conditions just are not looking good. You know, it looks like we might have a little bit of sunshine tomorrow afternoon, but it's still going to be cool. And if most of the pollen is washed off from, I mean, it was raining pretty hard. It may not be too good. So we're up here on the hill. You can kind of see it's just gray and overcast and drizzly. And my plum trees are fully blossomed out. So if the fruit doesn't get set now, there's no blossoms left to open that might get pollinated during the sunny period, because they're all in bloom. I had a couple 3 days of pretty good weather for my sweet cherry tree over here, so hopefully we'll get some fruit over there, but the bulk of the blossoms, they're wet. Here's my zestar that's starting to open up. I guess the one benefit with apple trees is the blossoms don't tend to open all at once. You can see they're slowly opening. There's actually there's 5 fruiting buds on each spur, and they kind of open one at a time. The first one that opens is I think that's called the king bud or something along those lines. But if it misses, you got 4 other chances, I guess. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. But most of the other apple trees, they're just slowly opening. So once the weather, we get through this 5 or 6 days of rainy, overcast weather, we'll probably still get a reasonable apple crop, because a lot of these trees are just starting to open up. But we'll see. We shall see.